Hey Sue, hey Gerald, hey Kathy. I hope you guys can hear me. Please let me know. Yay! Thank you, Gerald. Thank you, thank you. I don't know what happened last week. I think it's just Facebook, not Facebook, but YouTube gremlins. Hey Autumn, hey Marianne. We're a little bit early, so I'm not going to play the intro and stuff yet, guys. So we'll just wait on everybody else to come around. Hey Alice. If anybody has any project questions or design space questions, you can ask them. If you want, at any time, I'll answer them. You could hear me typing, yeah. Trying to still set up a couple of things. Did you guys see the awesome sales going on? Cricut? I think that's going to be for the next 3 days, and then that will be it before Christmas. You have until December the 14th to order on Cricut.com and get your delivery before Christmas. Hey, Patricia. But I just wanted to go through. I don't have these items yet, but I wanted to go through and show some of these things to you guys. And a way that you can always check and make sure. Of course, click on one of my links to come to Cricut.com so I'll earn a small commission. But when you're over here, when you're looking, the easiest thing that I found, and you're still going to have to look because it's not true. They're still working on it with reverse weeding, Kathy. There are a couple of things that people call reverse weeding. If you're talking about the one where they put the transfer tape over the whole thing and then remove the stuff they don't want, I don't do that. So to me, it's more work. Yeah, Gerald, I don't know if it was you, Gerald, that was asking about the blades for the True Control knife, but they have them now and they're on sale for $4. They do have them. But when you're looking, guys, if you come to Light Materials and then click Browse All and then come back to the Sort button to the newest arrival, it will bring up the newest stuff available. Now, if you want to get specific, let's go to Vinyl and Browse All and then go to Newest Arrival. And this is why I say it's not really perfectly true because there's new stuff out and it's not there. Hey, Jen. Marianne, it's going to probably be the lowest it's going to be. It's fixing to go off sale. It's on sale right now, and if you get access first, you'll save 10% on it, so that's another $20. Yes, you're going to pay $10 for the access, but you're going to save $20, so it still saves you $10 either way, and you get your access for an entire month. So, and I always recommend access, especially for newbies. That way you're not wasting your time trying to find images, and you know that the images that are in Design Space are going to work for you. Yeah, Kathy, I don't reverse weed that way. To me, it's just a whole lot more work. I had rather just try to make what I want to keep stick to the transfer tape than try to peel all that other stuff off. But if you guys go in here and you look, and I always go to 2 or 3 pages, but they have some new stuff coming up. Here's the book, and I just don't know if they haven't set this yet or if it's just not working, but usually the new stuff is going to be at the front, and it's not. Let me get to it. Forgot what page it was on. Right here, this is the premium vinyl. It's called True Brushed. And it's in different colors. This is the black, the pewter, and the copper. It's kind of like, got that finish like the stainless has on it. Let me see if I can bring it up. If you can see it there. It has that brushed look on it. But it's like it's brushed texture onto the vinyl. Really cool. They've got that's new. And let's go one more page. Right here, textured metallics, guys. This is in 6 colors. You have gold, silver, black, brown, copper, and platinum. But look at the texture on this, guys. I love this. Alice, removable vinyl is used for things like walls or anything that you may want to change. But this is the thing, Alice. Removable and your permanent, they're both removable. Hey, Sharon. The difference is the permanent has a stickier adhesive. But can you get it off? Yes. Would I put permanent on a wall? No. I would opt for the removable. That being said, I have used stuff like this. This is the premium. They're calling it permanent, but it does say recommended for indoor. So, that being said, I have used like the stainless foils on cups, and I've had it on there for 2 years. I wash it in the dishwasher. High heat wash and dry, top and bottom rack. It's still on the cup. The finish is coming off the cup, but my Cricut adhesive foil staying on. And it's an indoor removable vinyl. So, I mean, it's removable in the sense it's going to stay until you remove it. It's just not going to have as much adhesive and tack so that it might damage things like a wall. As far as mirrors and smooth textures and metal textures are concerned, you can put the vinyl on any of it, and it's not really going to go anywhere until you try to take it off. Unless you abuse it extremely. So, and even then, like I said, I've been abusing a cup for 2 years trying to make the vinyl come off, and it's not coming off. So, I ordered some. I don't have mine yet. But these, guys, they're really pretty. Like I said, they come in the copper, the chocolate brown, the onyx, which is like a black, your platinum, your silver, and gold. So if you don't have those, grab them because they're on sale. And I think it ends the sale on these new products ends today. I think. I don't know. I didn't get an email on it, so I'm not really 100% sure, but I think that it ends tonight. That was the word through the grapevine. So, don't hold me to it. Then you've got the samplers with those colors, guys. If you don't want to get the whole big rolls of them, if you just want to do the samplers, they have those. And then you've got your Natalie Malin, some of the new stuff here. So, guys, make sure that you check out these things frequently. I'm going to say at least once a week. Just to make sure. I do too, Gerald. I love that copper. Yes, vinyl on paper, iron-on on paper. So don't throw out your scraps. You can cut them for something and use them on cards and things like that. And then as far as tools go, where was I at? I think this is where I went. And browse all. And then I just did a sort by newest arrival. Boom. $4, guys. If you have a True Control knife, I'm going to say hop on that. I got 2 packs because they're $9 at Hobby Lobby. Even though they're saying $8 here, they're $9 and change at Hobby Lobby. Hey, Jamie, you're not late. We're early. We're just talking about some of the new stuff on the site. We haven't gotten into any projects yet. But yeah, guys, I would snap these up because if you go to your Hobby Lobby, Michael's, the best you're going to get is 40% off. This is 50% off. Then your 10% if you spend $50 with the group code. And if you have access, another 10%. You're not going to get these blades cheaper than that anywhere. This is not going to happen. But I don't know why this says $7.99 because my I bought a pack, and I'm going to say that they said not $8.99 or $9.99 on them. It wasn't $7.99 because I only got 40% off. So, but that was back in October that I bought those. They didn't have them on site yet. So make sure you guys are checking out all of the new things. But for the most part, it does work like on paper. If you go to cardstock and then hit newest arrival, because I'm going to show you another new one. Here are the new ones, and if you keep going, I know that this is newer, but it's not there. It doesn't want to pull up. Where's it at? I had it earlier. But I was on Safari, and I think this is on... Nope, this is Safari. I think it was on Chrome I was on. Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. The new embossed paper. Let me run over here and... There it is. The links are in the group, guys, for these. So, you know, just click on those and grab them. But yeah, $5 for this new paper. You get 4 of each pattern. The purple, what I call the blue and green mermaid scales. And I love this. And this one. Those are my 2 favorite in the pack. Yeah, I haven't used my X-Acto knife. As a matter of fact, I have 3 True Control knives because they didn't have the replacement blades and they didn't have them in store, so I just kept buying the knives. So now I've got plenty of knives. I've got one that I can leave on my desk, one that I can leave on my table, and one that I can walk around with and use wherever I'm at. So you found it under the foils, Kathy? Yep. A while ago I was on there and it was the first one after the new paper packs. But now it's not there. I don't know why. I guess they moved it. Because it was on page 2, I want to say. Right there. And then this was over. But it's not there now. But they move things all the time. So that's why I say go and look. Hey, Kathy. Other Kathy. Kathy J. Yeah, I don't know what I did before I had the True Controls. I really don't. Because I know that I was constantly chasing my X-Acto knife because it would constantly roll off the desk and hit the floor. And constantly tightening the blade on it. I do not miss it. And this project, guys, is available to everybody. This is a public file. Hey, Debbie. And the link to this file is in the video description. If you guys want to get that later, you can get it. But I am going to play the intro here in just a couple of minutes and then we'll get started. I am going to go over a couple of tips on your spacing and things like this for fonts. Thank you, Jamie. Because there's a little tip and trick that some of you may not know on your sizing when you do a project like we're about to do. And it may not matter, as some people may not notice it. I notice it, so there are things that I do to compensate, and I'm just going to give y'all a couple of the tips that I have. The vinyl is called the textured, Ellen. It's textured. It's not going to let me, I don't have the long link. It's not going to let me put the short link in, I'm sure, but I'm going to try it. Yeah, I don't have the long link for it. This font is Bird of Paradise, and it's free on DaFont. It's for personal use only. So let me go ahead and start the intro and we'll get started. Hi, Claudia. Hi, Sue. Okay, and we're back. And just in case, I did have the links for Amanda Stampin' Up! And Rhonda's, I'm sorry, not Rhonda, but Sammy's Unique Gifts. The links are in the description of the video. Thank you, Sue. And if you need a hostess code for Stampin' Up!, Amanda's a little under the weather, so she's not going to be here with us. That is this month's hostess code for Stampin' Up! So just in case you guys need that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. These I have already grouped and welded together, and you're going to find them that way in the file. I'm just going to go to a new file, and I'm just going to replace that. And I'm going to show you guys a couple of tips and tricks when you're doing some of the word or text images, because we are going to turn it into an image. We're going to flatten it. It's no longer going to be text. So the first thing that I do is I'm just going to do a couple of words here so that I can show you guys the difference. That should be enough. If not, we'll type in another. And the first thing that I did is I went and selected my font. And again, you can get this font on DaFont. It's free. And you can see it says Birds of Paradise, personal use. And this is how they come in. Doesn't look anything like what I had on the screen a while ago, does it? Not even close. So this is how we achieve and make it look pretty like I had it on. Let me just open up two so that we have it. So that we have both of them to compare. Okay, and you see the difference here? They don't look anything alike. This one, hey Wanda, the one that I have on the screen on the left isn't nearly as pretty as the one on the right. I think everybody can agree with me on that. But we're going to make it that way. So I'm just going to hide that in case we need it again. The first thing I did was pick my font. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to come over to the Advanced tab, and I am going to ungroup to lines. Not letters, but lines. That way I still have text, I can still curve it, I can still do all sorts of things with it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a letter space, and I'm going to decrease it and bring those letters closer together like they should be. And that's about as good as I can get. I don't want, that's a little bit too much for that word, so I'm going to bump it out just a little bit. I just want a little space there, and I want that I, the tail of that I to be in there and that L to be in there. So the next thing I need to do is go to Advanced and ungroup it to letters. Now it's all separated, each individual letter. And I'm going to lose the curving, but I'm not curving, so I don't need it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the first 3 letters here. They're good. I don't need them to be any closer. Hi, Bonnie. If you hold your Shift key, you can slide these over and it will stay basically in line so that the bottoms stay together. And then I'm going to pick up all 4 of those and hold my Shift key, and I'm just going to slide them over to keep them in line. Now they're where I want them to be. I'm going to select it all, and I'm going to weld it. And that's the way that that word is, and now it's one single image. This one, same thing. You're going to come in and you're going to letter space decrease. And see how my E is getting over there on that P and my O is not even close? It's looking at this tail here. So I'm going to increase that again and put it where I want it with the P and the E. I'm ignoring everything else. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to go one more. Now I'm going to ungroup that one to letters. And I'm going to select those 2 letters and hold my Shift and pull it over. And I'm going to get the H, hold the Shift, and pull it over. And I still want that to go in just a little bit tighter to that O. And now I'm going to select all of those and weld it. But we're not done. We're going to do the same thing with Joy. And actually, I'm just going to ungroup this one to the letters because I already know that I've got to move them all. And so I'm just holding my Shift and bringing those in. Hold the Shift and bring that one over. And now they stay in line, and I think I want that J a little bit further. Now I'm going to weld that. Now sizing. You didn't know that, Sue. See? Something new. Now you can, I think you can make it move, but you have to pull, you have to really drag it down to do it. Just moving your mouse over or just bumping your mouse down a little bit won't make it drop out of line. I think you can still move it out of line, but it won't make it, it's not going to do it unless you force it. So what we need to do here is now, let's say that I want to make this 3 inches across. That's my biggest word, so I want it to be the largest. But that's kind of short for me. I actually want it to be about 2 inches high. So I have room, and it's about 6 inches, and that's okay. I'm putting it on a placemat, and I think that I sized this one to, let me check my measurements here, guys. Yep, about 6 inches. So that's good for me. We're just going to go with this measurement and say this is the measurement that we want. Now, I've got that. because my words, these words are shorter than this word, if I try to make that 6 inches, look what happens. Look how much bigger it is in height than the others. It's not going to match up. What I really want to do is come in and make it the same height. My height on this is 2 inches. So if I come to this one and do 2 inches, let's take a look at it. That one will probably be okay. Now, look how much smaller it is than the others. My E's don't even match up. And the reason is we have this P down here. You see how the P dropped down? So instead of compensating these, all the bottoms are even. So I've got a good 2-inch measurement. This one I can't. I've got a good 2-inch measurement, but it's counting the top of the H and the bottom of the P. So that's why it's so much smaller. So what I do is I just place it up on my other one and stretch it until I get it just about the same height so that it looks cohesive on the project. Now they're looking like they are 2 inches in height as well, because when we're doing things on a line, we don't count what drops below the line. But Design Space does. I still need to make it slightly bigger. There we go. So now we're right there in line and it's about the right size. This one is really tricky because it has both upper and lower as well. So let's make that one 2 inches and see. Look how much smaller the O's are. So we're just going to bring those up as well. Get them on the same line. And now you've got, that one could go a little bit bigger. Now your project will look a little bit more cohesive, even though when we set it to 2 inches, it didn't. So I hope that those tips kind of help you out in how to bring your words together, especially anything that's scripty that's supposed to touch. Make sure you weld that, guys, because if you do not weld it and you send it over to the mat, that tail of that E is going to cut out of that L. The tail of that L is going to cut out of the I all the way down. So you're going to have your pieces cut out of your material, and you don't want that. Welding erases those cut lines where they touch. Did everybody understand that? Hey, Molly. But this is how you size them especially. Now, if Hope, or let's just say this was, I don't know, Peace, P-E-A-C-E, then it would be all in the same height because I could just hit the 2 and make it the same because I didn't have any letters that had any tails that dropped down below the line. So that's how you judge how to size your text images. Hey, Scrap. Yay, I'm glad that clarified a lot of that stuff for you guys. So now that we have our project and we've got it cut, we're just going to pretend that this is the one I used when we know we didn't. This is the one that I used right here. Let me just get rid of that one. I'll leave that. This is the one that I actually used, and again, this is down there. Now you can resize this. The reason that Hope is so big in this file, guys, usually most people do love, peace, joy, and hope. But I put believe in there because these are on the backs of my chairs covers that I made. And we're going to be putting this on coasters, but I wanted hope to be bigger because it's going to go on my tablecloth for my table, right in the center. And I wanted hope to be surrounded with peace, love, joy, and believe. I know, kind of hokey, but that's that's why I did it that way. I wanted all the other things to surround Hope. So that's the only piece that I have in my set. So you can do yours any way you want to. You can resize these down and stuff that I just showed you how to resize them. They're already set. All you guys have to do is just shrink them and bring them up and down. So let's move over to the project camera, guys, and we will do some iron-on and some vinyl. Some of you guys probably know how to do this stuff already, but we have a lot of new people, and some of them don't know what weeding is. Some of them do. Some of them don't know about mirroring and things like that, and we're going to cover that. So before I go to the project camera, for anybody that's new, when you hit make it and send this to the mat, and all of this is going on one mat, we're just going to ignore that. As a matter of fact, let me cancel and fix that. This is going to be cut out of vinyl, so I'm just going to make these words a different color. Doesn't matter. I've got them attached because they are being cut smaller for something else. And I'm using a patterned vinyl for those, and that is why this word is already cocked in there, because I'm putting it on the coaster in that direction so that it will fit, because the word is longer than the others. And I want the patterned vinyl to remain true on the word. I don't want it to be cocked. I want it to be straight. So I fixed my word before I sent it over. Yes, Kathy, everybody has to learn and start somewhere. So, and it never hurts, because even though you're experienced, I learn things new all the time. You never know when you might pick up a tip or a trick that you didn't know anything about. So it kind of helps to kind of refresh even for the experienced people. So, but I went ahead and I did this so that when it cut out of, I'm using the Rustic Lodge Lumberjack for this one, and I wanted it to cut, and I wanted my checks to stay straight, but my word has to go on in a different direction, and if I cut it straight when I turn it, then the pattern is going to be off on that one. So turn it first if you need to turn a word, and then cut. So let's hit make it, and we're going to pretend that we're cutting. And that I'm just going to get rid of this one, guys, because I made it a different size and it doesn't want to accept it. Let me just take it down. There we go. So here we are on the mat. When I go to cut this, for some reason it wants to stick this one on there. It's probably going to do the same thing to you. So let's just click on the three dots and hit move to another mat and bring it to that first mat and hit continue, and then we can put it right down there. My vinyl isn't short, so we can even turn it and get it up this way. In case any of you are new, you can reposition this stuff on your mat. As long as you're not using a pattern, and it doesn't matter, solid colors, you can move this stuff about and save a little bit more of your material. But once you have everything in place, it's very important when you're doing iron-on, and these that are in black are my iron-on. The one in pink is my vinyl. So up here, iron-on needs to be mirrored. So I need to click on that and mirror it so that it looks backwards to me. And this one is okay. And then I can hit proceed. Once we get over here, this is where you're going to select your material, and when you click on iron-on, it even gives you a reminder to make sure that you mirrored. And if you didn't, you can click on edit and you can still turn that mirror on right here. So always make sure that you have mirrored your iron-on. Okay? And now we're going to go over to the project camera so that I can show you guys a couple of things on that. When you're doing, and this is just some of my scraps, guys. I don't know if there's even yeah, there is a full piece in there. always, and it doesn't matter what you're cutting, the pretty side gets stuck to the mat. You want to see the ugly side, unless the package tells you differently, okay? But the general rule of thumb is pretty side on the mat. That's why we mirror and cut it. So after we've cut it and we weed it, this is the way that it cut, but when we flip it over to iron it on, then we can read it. So that's why we always mirror our iron-on unless the package tells us differently. And for those who do not know what weeding is where you remove. I've got all of my stuff here for you guys, and I can't. I'll just move that out of the way real quick, and I dropped one of them. You want to go to the edge, and I had to cut another letter for my hope because I removed the wrong piece on my letter and destroyed the letter. This right here, guys, is not Cricut, but it's the only thing I had left in this color. And this was a trial. And I'm telling you right now, just weeding it, I don't like it. But it's what I had, and that's what I'm going to use. But that's weeding, and that's where you take out all of the trash that you do not want to use, and then you have the piece that you do need. And most all of your iron-on, except some of the patterns, is going to have the sticky, pressure-sensitive backing. So if you accidentally lose the dot of an I or something like that, you can put it back on there. So if you have a boo-boo and you do, like I did, and you mess up your letter, you can replace it and put it back in there. You just want to make sure that you trim up the carrier sheet so that it isn't touching anything else on that carrier. Because even the experienced guys like us, we make mistakes. We have boo-boos. So let me just kind of show you guys how to fix it. I am not ironing this one on today because the tablecloth, it's apparent. But you can see the cut lines in there where that O is supposed to go. And I'm just going to line it up and stick it on right there so that when I go to iron that on, it's in the right place. So just as long as none of your carrier is touching any of the other pieces on that sheet, you can repair in that fashion. Yeah, you can do that too, Jamie. And I have done it and then went in and said, don't forget to mirror. And I mirrored it and then remembered I mirrored it on the mat or on the canvas. So I didn't. So I messed myself up. So let's go ahead. And I have the little baby Cricut Easy Press, and I'm dropping things, guys. I'm having one of those days. And while I'm going to turn this on, I'm going to show you some of you, especially if you're new. Let's see if I can get my link to populate for me. And transfer over. When you're doing your iron-ons, that's not it. Let's see. Where am I going? They took away our shop button or support button on shopping. Let me just cancel that. Let me grab it over here. I apologize, guys. I forgot that with the new site, our support or help link has been moved, and it's all the way down at the bottom of the page now instead of at the top. So let's go all the way down and go here because it won't let me pull up my link. And I want the Cricut Easy Press, and I want the guide, recommended settings, and right here you have an interactive guide. I've got a quick link to that. You guys can get that in the group. But I am putting this on some, and this is just an everyday metallic, and I am putting it on, I believe it's a cotton blend. Doesn't really, yep, here, cotton polyester, 100% cotton on the backing. The face is 55-45. So I'm just going to say it's a cotton blend right here. And I am using the Easy Press mat. And it's going to tell me to pre-wash. Personally, I don't pre-wash. And I haven't had any problems. But if you think that you might have a coating, hey Sheila, a coating on something that might keep your iron from sticking, it's a very good recommendation to pre-wash. So it wants us to put the temp at 315 for 5 seconds, preheat pressure for our general pressure for 30 seconds, and then flip it and do the back. I am not going to do the back on these. It's not going to be warm, and we're going to peel warm. So all of your information can be found here on this interactive guide, and you guys can save this. Let me just give you the long link here. There's the link for that, and you guys can save that so that you have this anytime you do iron on. So I'm just going to come back over and show you guys. We're going to go back to the Easy Press so I can show you guys how easy it is to use. And guys, it is on sale, I think, for the next 3 days, might be 2 days now, 3 days. And it's $99. If you have access, you're going to save 10%. So now is the time to get this. So we're going to turn it on by pressing the button. We're going to hit the power button, and we're going to make that 315. Then I'm going to hit the time button, and I'm going to make it 30 seconds. And the new Easy Press 2 heats up really quickly, guys. Let's make sure that I set that temp to 315, and I did. It heats up pretty quickly, so there's not a lot to do on these. We're just going to, I'm going to place all these out of the way so that you guys can see them. I just wanted you to see how easy it was to get your press ready, and it's going to beep at you when it's heated up, okay? Yes, Kathy, that interactive guide, I love it. And I know most of my temps for most of my things that I do, but I still find myself going and checking and making sure that I got it right. And I had a piece of cardstock and I lost it, but that's okay. I'll just use my tape measure. And that is going to be the bottom left. I'm going to make my tags all the bottom left. I haven't removed them yet. And you heard it beep. It's ready. One thing that you want is the Easy Press mats, guys. These help wick moisture away, and they will tell you what side needs to be down. And then I am just going to place my placemat right over that mat. Now I want this to be about, I don't know, 1.5 inches from the bottom. But you can determine where you want yours to be. So 1.5 inches from the bottom is going to be right about here. And I'm going to, my arm is stuck to my mat that I have for the next. I want it to be in as well. And when you're ironing on, guys, same thing applies with your iron-on as it does with putting your letters together. We are judging this line right here. Okay? We don't want to count this. These drop below the line, remember? How we made them on the canvas? These drop below the line. So, make sure that you accommodate for that. I'm just going to place it on there. I think I got it about 1.5 inches. Wow, I couldn't do that again if I tried. And I'm up a little. So let's just pull it up. And that looks about right. That looks good to me. So we have it on there. And I don't need the protective sheet because I'm not layering anything. I'm not putting a secondary color on. So I'm just going to place this on and hit the C. And it's going to start counting down the timer. And it was red there for a second because the temperature dropped on it for just a minute, but it came back up. And all I'm doing is fingertip pressure. Don't need a whole lot. Gerald, I don't know what I'd do with it. I don't know what I did before. Well, I do know what I did before, and it was a real pain. I have a heat press, and then I got the 9x9 easy press. And now I have the little guy. And guy, this is peel warm, so I'm going to let that cool for just a minute before I peel because it is nice and hot. We don't want to, if you peel it right now, you're going to stretch your iron-on, and you can get it back down there, but it's going to have a wrinkle in it. But I have found myself, I use this little one more than I use anything. I have not used, literally, guys, you think I'm kidding? My heat press has dust on it because I have not used it since I got the sky blue 9x9. And then I got the raspberry when I was at the Mountain Make-a-thon. And I haven't used my blue one since I got this one. So, but I know I will on my larger projects. So, and that's warm. So now I'm just going to gently peel off the carrier, and we have our iron on there. Okay? And that's what you're going to do for all 4 of these. All of your mats. And I'm just going to say that's about 1.5 inches. I'm off just slightly. And make sure it's straight. I have to stand up to make sure I'm straight. Don't let, when you're putting it on something like this, don't try to follow the lines of this, because if you'll notice down here, that line is not straight. So I'm trying to ignore it, even though my eye is drawn to it. Sometimes I have to cover it up just so I can see. And I'm going to call that one good, and we're going to, I don't know why that's saying 375. I didn't hit it. I'm not going to leave this on the whole time just in case it is at 375. I may have hit it. But I'm just going to give it a few seconds here. And that looks good. I must have hit it because the temp is coming down now. Let me. Okay. There we go. I'm back to 315 now. Gonna let that one cool. And these iron-ons go pretty quick, guys, especially when you're doing just like one little word. It takes more time to line them up and judge that than it does anything. That looks good. And we're just going to do our timer again. Let me see if I can adjust the camera to get you guys a better view. I'm limited on my cord here. Yeah, that Makeathon, we got it really quick. Now, if this was clothing, I probably would do the back side of it, especially if it was something thick like glitter. But these are really thin, and I don't think that it's necessary. That one's warm. You just peel that. Let that one cool a little bit more. Still really hot. You can tell. So, if it's too hot to touch, you don't want to. So, guys, how's the buffering? Moses isn't here yet. Hi, Lucy. AT&T was supposed to be here, watching the live. You're getting one for Christmas. You're going to love it. Trust me. And if anybody's not getting one for Christmas, I would grab it now while it's on sale. You want to make sure that your mat stays up under your complete iron-on. No buffering. Yay! So maybe we're fixed now, guys. They came and put a device on my PC and hardwired it and took me off of Wi-Fi. And Mr. Moses said that he didn't understand why nobody did that before. Perfect. I think a little bit of the sound issue last week was partly YouTube and partly the Wi-Fi dropping the signal. But I am so happy that it's fixed. Finally. As long as it stays fixed, I'll be okay. Hey, Kathy. I have two. I have a Kathy F, a Kathy G, and a Kathy J. Hi, Nancy. So this is warm, and we're just going to peel it off. And guys, that's all there is to doing these placemats. So now we have our love, peace, joy, and believe. And I don't know, guys, I looked online and I couldn't find the placemats at Walmart, but I went to my store and went over, not in the holiday section because somebody moved them, but in the regular section, and I found these. $1 a piece. They were on clearance for $1 a piece. So, that was a huge find. Yeah, Sheila, seriously, I told him that if he didn't fix it, that I was setting up a guest room for AT&T in my house. Okay. So, let's go over a little bit of the differences in vinyl and iron-on. Vinyl is not applied with heat. Most of you guys know that. We have had some people ask, can you put it on with heat? And no, you don't really want to heat your vinyl. When you heat your vinyl, it can deactivate the adhesive. So you don't want to do that. One of them activates, one will deactivate. So like I said, I'm using the, I think it's Rustic Lodge Lumberjack. Yeah, it has a great big long name. This is the removable matte vinyl. This is the pattern, and you get the 3 patterns in it. This is the same one I used on the soap dispenser where I peeled the label for the Bath & Body Works and I used this same pattern. But this is available at Cricut. This is also available in an iron-on. But the iron-on, correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie, Sue, the iron-on is only available at Michael's and Joann's? Or is it Michael's, Joann's, and Hobby Lobby? They have both. They have the vinyl and the iron-on. But on Cricut.com, they only have the vinyl. Yes, this is the Cricut vinyl, Claudia. And I got it while it was on sale because I didn't buy it at Michael's or anybody because it was cheaper at Cricut.com with my access discount and my group code. So, and right now it's on sale. And they have this in the iron-on, but Cricut.com doesn't have the iron-on in this pack. Is that right? I know that because I got the iron-on because I used the iron-on for this. Right. Thank you, Jamie, for clarifying that. I just wanted to be sure that I was right and they hadn't snuck it up on the site and I missed it. So, but I knew that I had gotten some, and I believe I did get that at Michael's. But now we're just going to weed. I've already cut, and any other time I would be using my bright pad, but I can see the cut lines on this very well. Let me get it up close to the camera so you guys can see. But I can see the white lines of the backing in there, so I don't really need my bright pad. So I'm leaving it, and I got this tip from Miss Sue Caballero right there. I'm leaving this on my mat so the static electricity doesn't have it jumping up everywhere on me. So I'm just going to pull back this corner and start my weeding. And I'm just going to let it break some of those lines loose. This stuff, guys, I know that a lot of people did not like the old Cricut vinyl. I know you didn't. I wasn't a fan, but I did use it. I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't like the thickness of it, and I found it a little difficult to weed. But I'm telling you, the new Cricut and even the pattern, this stuff is so easy to weed. It is unbelievable. So if you have not, if you're an Oracle fan, there's nothing wrong with that, being an Oracle fan. I like some of the Oracle products myself. But if you have not tried the new Cricut vinyls, you need to try them because now I prefer the new lay flat stuff over Oracle. It weeds easy. It's easy to work with. Even this patterned is really easy to work with. But we're all weeded there. I missed my trash can, so I'll have that stuck to my foot before the night's over, I'm sure. Yes, if I'm using my bright pad, I'm going to take this off. And what I have started doing when I have to use my bright pad on something that I can't see to weed, with the old stuff it used to roll up, but this lays pretty flat, so I'm good with it. I can just hold it. But if you've got some of the old line, then you can just use a piece of masking tape and tape it down on the edges to hold it flat on your bright pad. Because that's what I used to do. I used to just cut a piece of the scrap vinyl and just stick it down on the sides so that it doesn't move. You can, Sue, when I do glitter, when I weed glitter, because glitter is very porous, even with the bright pad. I have my iron-on stuck to everything here. Give me just a second. When you try to weed glitter, it is extremely porous. You can hold it up and to your light and look through it, and you can see straight through it. And it just makes it really difficult to weed, no matter what you're weeding and how you're doing it. With the bright pad, if you roll this backwards to kind of break the glue lines apart and then put it on there, you can see it. But you need to make sure that the light in the room is not brighter than your bright pad, and that will help immensely when you're weeding glitter. Okay? But I have left mine on the mat and put my mat with my glitter on there, and it helps me see the lines, especially like on black glitter. I can see the lines much better on black glitter if I leave it on my cutting mat and put the cutting mat over the bright pad. So, that's the only thing. Now with your dark blues and your blacks and your regular vinyls and stuff, I don't use it for white because I can see the weeding lines on those, and like this I could see the white backing from it. But like black and some of the other colors that is hard for me to see my weeding lines, yeah, I put it right on my bright pad and use that for those. Especially if it's a bunch of intricate cuts, that bright pad will save you. So I've got all of these on there and they're weeded, and I'm just going to cut them apart carefully so you don't cut your letters, because they're going on 4 different things. And it doesn't matter how you cut them apart as long as they're in 4 pieces or however many pieces your project needs. And I am using the new Cricut transfer tape, what I have left of it. This is all I have left of that roll. I have gone through some transfer tape. And let's see. I could probably get by with 1 piece. I'm just going to cut it big enough for all of them. I'm just going to cut a little square of it. Yeah, you can put powder on there, and I want to say it was Terry that gave us a tip back in the summer. You can put a pen, one of the like metallic pens, in your pen slot and have it write, just instead of hitting, instead of ejecting the mat, you just hit go and it draws it out or something. She has a small little video on it. I think I saved it in the playlist of tips. Yeah, that's another tip that Sue gave. She puts, after she cuts them apart, she puts them back on her mat so that it's not jumping up on the static electricity. Because if you don't, when you go to put these on, it can be really staticky. The new stuff is not as bad as the old, because I could put this transfer tape right here and it would already be sucked up on there. But you can put it right here on the mat and just lay out your transfer tape and then peel it off. And that way you get your transfer tape on there without the static electricity jumping up at you. And again, guys, I just kind of fingertip burnish mine. I don't burnish hard. If you're not sticking, then you can burnish. But I never burnish mine really hard. I don't find a need for it. But you want to peel the backing away from the transfer tape and not the tape from the backing. And if it's not sticking and you have a little piece, just kind of wiggle it, and usually it'll just stick right down. If it's not, you can burnish it again. I just like mine to be easier to work with when I'm removing my transfer tape. And that's where the static comes in. So, these are little chalkboard coasters, guys. I found these at Michael's. I don't remember what I paid for them, but they were over in the floral department with tablescapes. So you can find these at Michael's. And this may blend in a little bit too much, but I'm going to try it anyway, because I really wanted to use the pattern on this. I probably need a white layer, which if I do, I will make one and redo it. So I'm just giving it a little rub with my finger. And then again, pull that transfer tape back, flat against itself, and bring that in. And that one is a little hard. It's easier to see here on camera than it is, I mean, here in real life than it is on camera. But it looks pretty good. So I'm going to live with it. You could do a white shadow layer with your font if you have Cricuts a lot. I'm just going to give it a little rub. And if it's not cooperating, then I can burnish it. You see how mine's coming up right there with it? It's not sticking. I'm just going to give it a little wiggle. The new stuff is just so easy to work with. So easy. And I have to stand up, guys, because I'm trying to get these as much center as possible. Now, I'm not rubbing the whole transfer tape. I'm just rubbing over my letters because I don't need that transfer tape to stick to anything. And just peel it right off. My backing may not be big enough to do this one with, but I'm going to try it. There we go. And I did not clean these chalkboard things with anything before I started because they're porous and they're not shiny, so fingerprints and stuff aren't going to stick to them, so really there's not any need. Oh, yes, Sue. I missed Sheila's tip. What was it? Or was that about the powder? Yeah, that's a really good tip. Oops. I messed up my E right there. That was me not looking. I was looking at the screen and reading chat. But I'm just going to take my little pick, work it loose, and then tap it down so it stays in place. Like I said, the new Cricut stuff, guys, is a breeze to work with if you have not tried it. Nothing like the old stuff. Alright. And I still have some tack on that, so that would still be good for something. So now we have our coasters to go with that, guys. Oh, very good idea, Sue. Very good idea. Hey, Elise. Yeah, guys, we have an excellent group of crafters in the groups. So if I'm not available or the moderators aren't available, most all of the crafters in the group have very good information that they give you. And that's really important this time of the year. We want to make sure that everybody gets correct information. So make sure that when you're providing information to others, it's the same information that we have given you, because you don't want somebody messing up their materials with incorrect information. So help when you can, and make sure that you provide correct information. If you don't know, buzz one of us, tag us, because I know with the holidays everybody gets busy. But if you tag us, then we get notification our name has been put in there, and we can run and look real quick at what the issue is and help out. Oh, Kathy, don't even worry about that. I'm no typist, for sure. So yeah, Kathy, vinyl can be tricky, and I try to tell newbies, especially, start with iron-on, because, well, to me, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, to me, iron-on is one of the easiest things to do. Sometimes we might get the temp wrong and things like that, but as far as weeding and getting it straight and having some room for error to play and move it around, you get that. You don't get that with vinyl. Once it's stuck down there, it's going there, or you're probably going to have to cut it and redo it. So iron-on's a lot easier in the vinyl area than learning the sticky adhesive. But they're both pretty easy. You can get by and learn, but you can, if you start with iron-on, you're going to get a feel for weeding and those kind of things, and things of what to do and what not to do, and then move on to the adhesive. Because the adhesive, once it's stuck down, it's stuck down. Yes. People think that paper is easy. Paper is one of the hardest crafts to do. It really is. Oh, you're welcome, Robin. You snuck in on me. Good to see you. The Santa bag file, Marianne, the one that I posted that had like the little mail letter on it. Is that the one you're talking about? Let me see if I can find the one mailbag. Now I put a stocking one in chat for everybody. That one is free to use. But the mailbag that I did, Marianne, that was a project kit on Patreon. I have supporters that support me on Patreon, and a Diamond member gets a project kit every month. They pay for that $50 tier, and they get everything they need in the kit to make the projects. And this month they got the Santa sack and all the iron-on for it. They got a set of coasters, but they got a totally different file than what we did here. They got that file. They got the video on how to do the projects, and they also got the mail envelope tin. It was a bit, it's like a 17-inch metal envelope. They got all of that in their kit. So I can't share that file with you because that is an exclusive to them. But I do have last year's that is public, and you can use that. But any of those, I post those projects so people can see those projects. But those three, the mailbox or the letter envelope and the Santa sack and the coasters that I posted, the lump of coal coasters, was a project kit for December. Pretty good project kit, actually. You get a good bit of stuff in those. Janet, this is the Bird of Paradise, and it is available on DeFont, personal use font. Yep, you got it, so you don't have to shop for anything. The vinyl's in there, or the iron-on, whatever it is that, it might be a paper project, it might be a vinyl project, it might be whatever, but each kit always tries to include something that's reusable, either a tool or something like the coasters, something. You always get something that's usable. And I think I froze. Yes, Kathy, it is. I don't know if you guys saw the Thanksgiving, the Thankful, Blessed, I forgot what I had on it. But it was the 3-color sign, the burgundy, green, and orange sign. They got everything that month in that kit, including the boards, and they made their own sign from boards. They were all pre-sanded and ready to go. All they had to do was stain them and put their vinyl on, and they got a video showing them step by step. Thank you, Sue. You won't be able to sign up for the Diamond Kit until January the 1st. I do turn that off after all kits are depleted and sent out, so that somebody can't accidentally sign up at the end of the month and get a double $50 hit on the 31st and the 1st. But it will be turned back on the 1st of the month, each month, so that you can sign up for it, and that way I know how many kits I need to make. And they get all the files to do their projects with. You guys don't pay attention to all of the stuff behind me because I am in craft mode. I mean, I am popping stuff out of here so fast, it's not even funny. And somebody just tried to call me 20 minutes before the live and wanted to order more cups. And I'm like, psst, we're done until the 1st of the year. I know I might be able to squeeze 1, maybe 2 more cups out between now and Christmas, other than what I already have, but yes, you can, Marion. Yeah, I mean, with that and Lazy Susans and signs and cards and vinyl projects and iron-on projects, I have, this table is not usually here. I had to bring this table in, and I am like squeezing between 2 tables and my desk to just work around it because I need the space to get all of this out. As a matter of fact, I had to drive to South Carolina on Friday to deliver all of the cups that I had because I didn't have room to put the cups that I'm working on. Everything was taken up so much. So does anybody have any design space questions, or anybody have any project questions? Anybody stuck on Escal, anything? Yeah, Marianne, this live is going much smoother since we're not buffering and everything is working. I am just so thankful for that. Okay, if nobody has any questions, or if you forget to ask something, don't forget you can come and you can ask me or Jamie or Sue or Kathy or any of the experienced members in the group, and you'll get some help. Kathy, I'm in Georgia. I am in Hampton, Georgia, almost right beside the Atlanta Motor Speedway. You want to see something done making puzzles, Sheila? Okay, I made one. Was it last year, Jamie, or the year before? I think it was last year because I had just gotten the maker in August. So yes, I did do a puzzle. I used a Design Space image and made a puzzle. How to choose fonts for writing? Yes, Elise, we can do that. Let me go over to Design Space. Let's put this out of the way. Again, that's the interactive guide. If you guys need it, you can find that under Help, just by going to Help. Let me move my coasters. I got it covering part of my screen here, my coasters and my placemats. Okay, so you go to a new project. And let's just say we're doing a card. So let me get a square. And we're going to make this so we can see it. So here, let's just say this is a 5x7 card. And you're wanting to, actually, let's just go ahead and make it like a card. So our card would be 10x7 to make a 5x7. We would insert a shape. And we're going to make that score line 7 inches. We're going to align, center, attach, and we have our card base. Now, if we were going to be writing on this, I'm going to make another shape, get a square, and I am going to, I'm just going to make this a tan color so we can tell. I'm going to make it a 5x7. And then I'm going to select the two. I'm going to align to the right, align to the top. And I know that this is the inside of my card and it's lined up, okay? So now I'm going to type in my text. Oops. I just like the way a capital A looks there better. That's all personal preference, guys. And then I'm going to align and I'm going to do center. And I know that I'm going to want that to be on my card. And this is personal preference too. I can't talk. Some people like to take up all the space, and some of us like to have it small, like it would be like in a Hallmark card or something. Totally personal preference. So once I have it, and I have it just about where I want it on there, then I'm going to come over here to Style, and you can select Writing. And all that's going to do is change that Cricut Sans default font to Write. Now if I want... Kathy, that is done with Snap Mat. And I am, guys, I am working on a series of Learn Design Space iPad version. And that is only available with iOS mobile, Kathy. She is putting her card on the mat, and she's using Snap Mat to take a picture of it. Then she's got her signature uploaded, and she is just moving it where she wants on that mat in Snap Mat, and then it writes it. But that is coming. That's a good question, Kathy, and I will be showing that, how to use that after the first of the year. The videos are in works, and they are coming. So I have this, but I don't like that font. So I am going to come up here and click on my font. And I'm going to use this filter over here, Elise. So when you click on that filter and go to Writing, It's going to bring up all the writing fonts. Now, even though I'm on all right here, the really true writing fonts are Cricut fonts. All other fonts are going to follow the cut line of your other fonts. So you can make any font a writing font that you want, but you have to remember it's going to follow the cut line of that font. So it's not going to color it in, and it's just going to do the outside areas of it. So what you'll want to do at that point is go through and find the font that you want. And I kind of like this Be Mine, so I'm going to select it. And again, you see none of my letters are touching. I'm just going to make this big so you guys can see it. That's a cursive font, and they aren't touching. The same as we did before for our iron-on and our vinyl. When you're selecting a script font that's supposed to touch, you want to letter space those down and bring them together. And you can see that these are touching like I think that's like they're supposed to be. I have to make it really big for me. It's not quite on there. There we go. So now I've got this touching like it's supposed to be, but these two aren't touching. But because this R has this curl up, I would probably leave that. I don't know. Most likely I'm going to ungroup it to letters. And then I'm going to select my letters, hold my shift key, and kind of just bump them over and get them where they look a little bit cohesive there. And they're like they're supposed to be. Oops, I missed my shift key. And I see how that one dropped down? I didn't have my shift key held. So once you've got them all, and we're just going to pretend that I do have them all. I'm going to move this out of the way. You're going to select all of your letters. And you're going to reattach them. Make sure that you attach them. Then you're going to size it down. And this is how I size and make sure that I get mine centered where I want it. And we're just going to pretend that I've got everything just like I want it. I've attached it. I'm going to select that and that panel I put in. I'm going to align and center it horizontally and let it jump over. And I don't want to center it center. I want room to write down here. I'm just going to click off of everything. I'm going to get this panel and move it out of the way and get rid of it. I'm going to select those two and attach. Now I know that that is centered in the center of the back of my card. So did that answer the question for that, Elise? When you hold the shift key, Ellen, it stops it from dropping down. When you have text, I can't type, guys, but you guys know that. So when you have text and you want to move them closer together and you hit advanced and you ungroup to letters, if I just move this L, you can see how it's dropping down and I'm moving it closer over. It's not staying in line. If you hold your shift key and select that letter, it doesn't, it just moves straight over. Now I can drag it down, but I have to hold it, and I have to hold the mouse button down and pull it. But it's not going to freely do it just by when I'm moving. If you can see, I'm not holding it here, and when I move it, it's just all over the place. But again, if I hold the shift key and I just pull on it, it stays in line. Now, like I said, if you bump it and while holding the shift key, you can drag it down. It will allow you to do it, but just normal movement won't make it drop. You have to kind of shake your mouse up and down to make it turn loose. let me, it's probably not going to let me, but I'm going to try to get you guys. Oh, let me see if I can. Let me get my own link and see if I can get you guys that Snap Mat page. This is Snap. It's a, let's go, Snap Mat. I got to change that link too. They've moved it. So whenever you get a link from me, if it doesn't work, let me know, because they are moving things around and I've got to change my link. But here are all of the FAQs for your Snap Mat. But basically you're going to put your card after you've made it, or whatever it is that you want signed, on this mat. You're going to have in design space just your writing. That's all you're going to have. It's not going to be attached to anything. It's going to be free floating. And then once you capture the picture of your mat, then you can move that signature to the position you want it to be on that card. And then you hit go and it does it, and it writes it right where you put it. They used to have, didn't they used to have some pictures in here for these? I thought they did, but maybe not now. Maybe I'm just thinking that I saw them because I saw them on my device. Oh, you're welcome, Lucy. Yeah, at least at the end of the day, you have to remember it's just paper and the time that you spent on it. And that can get frustrating, but at the end of the day, it's just paper, and you learn so much more from your mistakes than you do when it goes perfectly smooth. Or I do anyway. I learn so much more from the mistakes that I make than I do from getting it right. You're welcome, Ellen. Yes, thank you, Jamie. Please thumbs up, and please, please, please subscribe so you get and turn on the notifications so you know when we go live. And after the first of the year, guys, I'm going to try to add a couple more lives a week at different times, various times during the day, so that some of the times might work out better for some of you guys. So we'll be putting up some polls and taking polls on that, times that work for everybody. Okay, if nobody else has any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and do the closing and let you guys have a good night. I will see you on the 17th, I think. Let's take a look at the calendar real quick and make sure that everything is right. Yes, the 17th. We will not go live on the 24th. That is, Christmas Eve is on a Monday. And we will make it up at some point after Christmas. But we will not be live on the 24th. Because everybody's going to be, I think everybody should be with their family during that time. So, Snap Mat is iOS only, Kathy, yes. Thank you, guys. I truly appreciate you all. And if anybody has any questions you didn't get to ask or you forgot, please, please, please ask them in the groups and we will get you an answer. I promise. I promise, I promise. We will get an answer for you. And if we have to do a small clip video, guys, we will do it. We do whatever it takes for you to succeed with your Cricuts. You guys have a wonderful night.